School AI, and this is the launch pad where you will come into once you have signed in. From here, we're going to look at spaces quickly. And so with spaces, you are creating an area for students to interact with the AI. There are three types. There's Discover, which has pre-made student activities created from other educators and School AI themselves. You can create and manage your own custom space, and you can also use sessions, which you can view and manage all students within a session. I'm not going to talk about sessions right now or creating your own. We're just going to work with some that have already been made because there's a lot of really good ones already out there. So I'm going to click on Discover. And from Discover, you'll find some common activities that these spaces are already broke up into. So we have Sidekick, which basically gives the student an AI assistant to ask questions as they're going through an activity. I wouldn't necessarily start with a Sidekick. To go, I would start the first time with a bell ringer or an exit ticket activity or a video exploration. But Sidekick is a great tool for students as well, and I'll get into that in another video. Bell ringer will just ask the kids a quick topic or ask them their prior knowledge on a topic to get started with class, and you'll be able to manage those questions and how they do within the space. And I will show you the teacher side of it in a moment as well. Exit ticket, same sort of thing, just something to assess their knowledge at the end. And then video exploration. Students would be able to engage with an interactive video. So it's almost like a play pause it where it's asking them questions as they go through the video. So here's one that I've made. So once you make one, you'll have a little section of your videos, and then you can go through the ones that are already pre-made. So there's the popular that go along with things that are happening right now. So pie activity, since we just passed Pi Day. And then there's a lot of Women's History Month activities, Black History Month activities, St. Patrick's Day, because those are all topics that have just recently or will. You can also look through by subject area, commonly used spaces for that month. There's a lot of different ways that this is broken down. Writing skills, history come to life. History come to life is one of my favorite areas. So there's curriculum group. So it's history come to life, and these are people that the students can quote unquote talk to. So I've done this before in a history class with Alexander the Great, but there are numerous people that are already in here that have been created throughout history, and the students can speak to those people. So as I said, I'm familiar with this one that I've done in a World 1 classroom. And so you just go in and you launch it, and then the students have a chance to speak with Alexander the Great. Let me try that one. And so once they're in and they have this, it'll ask them questions like it did before. But when I did it, we pretty much ignored the questions that it was asking us, and we just asked it our own questions. I had the students ask questions, and then we would turn on speak. And so obviously we don't know what Alexander the Great's voice sounded like, but it will give kind of its choice. So one of the questions some of the kids were asking were, how many wives did you have? Because they knew he had more than one. So I'm not really paying attention to what it asked and just asking the questions that the kids were interested in knowing. So I push play, and then instead of me reading the response to them, I put on speak, and they could hear it. And so we had the kids answer that out loud, and then the next kid would answer, and one asked, which was your favorite? So really, they were just really asking, wanted the tea on his life, like they were actually speaking to Alexander the Great. So we just keep going like this. And this was a great icebreaker for the students before they did an activity that included Alexander the Great. And so we just kept going. And so now it's going to talk about Aristotle. And so the kids started asking questions about Alexander's relationship with Aristotle and how that affected his goals. See, and these are the kind of questions we didn't necessarily have them answer, like the personal questions, but made that a broader question. And so we did this for about 5 minutes or until the kids were done asking questions. And it was a really great activity. So that's just another way that School AI spaces can help. Didn't realize as I was doing that it wasn't showing you this screen. So this is the screen that the students will see as they're going through this once it's launched for them. So they'll put their name in and then it'll come up, and this is where I was asking the question of Alexander the Great. And so here's where I asked about Aristotle and how that came up. And then once I asked the question, is there anyone else? You ask the question, and then once it gives the answer, it takes a second for that to come. I like to do the speak feature when I'm doing this whole group. And so he mentions his father, King Philip II, and how he influenced his life and military strategy. And then speak. Speak sometimes takes a second to generate, but I think it's worth it for them to hear that from someone from the computer and not from us, as I mentioned earlier. But I just realized that it didn't record this, so I wouldn't see this. Right, and again, you can answer the question that it poses, or you can just have the kids continue to generate it their own and answer the question. And you can also search by standard, which is pretty cool. So Virginia, subject area, and the curriculum maps are in here for most content areas. I have not searched to see what's all there and what's missing, but I have noticed that most things are there. And then here are the standards, and you can check on just the standard that you are going over. So those are like the substandards within this strand. And it can show the results of what is there based on what I picked. So human body, nutrition, because I picked 10th grade PE. So pretty cool there. From here, you would choose whatever you are interested in having the students answer questions on. So this space is designed to provide students with an understanding of nutrition, and it's going to cover those macro and micronutrients, balanced diet, all of those things that are within that standard. So I can preview this, and what it's going to do is it's going to ask the students a question or two, and then they are going to be able to interact. And based on how they interact, the AI will ask them more questions. So this is going to say, what do you already know? So it's assessing their prior knowledge first. It's going to ask them what they already know about nutrients, or if they are curious about something specific, they can ask that. And then based on their answer, it will continue to ask them questions just like I showed you a second ago. Once you launch a activity, it will show up on your launch pad, and you'll be able to see all of the participants that are inside of that. And so I put my name in as Jen, and it's telling you how I'm answering. So you'll be able to see how the kids are answering the questions. And if you see something like that's concerning to you, like this one's not necessarily concerning because I still try to answer the question even though I didn't know what the answer was, but if you saw something like "this is stupid," "I hate this," or someone not answering at all, you can click on that person and be able to see exactly what is happening within there and how they're answering a longer dialogue of questions or not answering, and be able to address that with the students. So it allows you to monitor as they're working within the AI and interacting with them. And then it's going to brainstorm with them what some healthy alternatives would be. So you like this, instead let's try popcorn or roasted chickpeas. And then it's going to give you how they feel the students are answering this. Feeling neutral, they're not giving great answers, but they're not giving horrible answers. If I were to say something like, "this is stupid, I hate this activity," it would change the emoji to a negative emoji, and you would be able to see that line for all of the students and be able to pick and choose without having to read every single comment, because that's hard to do if you have 30 kids versus one. All right, so that's just a quick look of how to use spaces inside of your class.